Hi, welcome to Doc Talk. Doc Talk is the Knoxville Academy of Medicine podcast where we talk about health issues affecting all East Tennesseans in plain language. Today I have I'm Elise Denaney, former president of the Knoxville Academy of Medicine, and I welcome you today. Today we have joining us Dr. Larry Bushkell, dermatologist with Knoxville Derm Group. And oh my stars, how many years have you been a dermatologist?
Well, I finished my residency in 1974, so 44 to 45 years.
The human skin doesn't change that much, does it?
No, if you take care of it, it doesn't change much at all.
I'm so glad you're here to join us today. We're going to talk about sun. There's just a lot of misconception about sun. How much sun should you get? Is the sun damaging? So on and so forth. So, is the sun damaging?
It surely can be. You know, it's called ultraviolet radiation, and indeed it is radiation from the sun. If you ever had a car for more than 4 or 5 years and you check the dashboard on that, you would see how hard it becomes, or your seats, you know, how they're faded out, how it can damage the fabric on those things. It does the same thing on your skin.
Oh, I don't want my skin to be like my dashboard. That would be terrible. So, you know, there's this big concern over most of America being deficient in vitamin D because we don't get enough sun. So how do we figure out how much sun we should get and how much we shouldn't?
Well, what our American Academy of Dermatology recommends is that you protect your skin from the sun and you take a vitamin D supplement. There's a tremendous difference if you laid 10 people out on the beach and had, after a half hour or so of the sun, there would be vastly different amount of vitamin D created. So everybody is different. There is certainly a lower limit that you should have, and we recommend that you get it through a supplement and then wear sun protection.
Okay, so sun protection. Does that mean I get to buy a big fancy straw hat?
You can, but you know, I think a hat is real important, certainly to protect your ears, for men particularly to protect their ears, but also sunscreen. Here in the Knoxville area, between March 30th and the end of October, you can be sunburned. Even on a cloudy day or on a rainy day, the sunburning rays are invisible to the sun, to the eye, and so you can get sunburned on those kinds of days. And we recommend a number 50 sunscreen, which is the best, and that's the highest that the FDA can measure. Anything higher than that, I'm not sure where they come by it, but the FDA doesn't get those numbers.
So, not that you have to do any product recommendation, but you know, I go to Walgreens, I go to CVS, I go to the drugstore, and when you go to sun protection products, there is a whole section there.
Right, and I think to start off first with the number 50 is going to be
50,
your,
okay.
yeah, that's going to be the one to go by.
Okay.
Consumer Reports every year puts out a number of them. One that is the best one is also rather expensive, La Roche-Posay. It's about $30 for a tube of that, or a bottle. There are a couple of the Water Babies, Coppertone Water Baby products that have been ranked high for a number of years. There's also one called NOAD, which is a generous amount for what you pay, and that has been a good one. And Neutrogena makes some good products also.
Okay, so I get this from my girlfriends when we go to the beach. Do I have to apply it a certain amount of time before I go out into the sun?
Absolutely. Put it on first thing in the morning, and you get what we call a reservoir effect, and that works much better than if, when you're stepping out on the first tee, you know, you pull it out of your bag and slather it all over your arm.
That would be me.
Then, you know,
Sorry.
You'll get more benefit.
Okay, so put it on first thing in the morning.
Right.
Do I have to reapply it?
If you're going to be in the water, you should every 2 hours, or if you're going to be where you're sweating, playing tennis, golf, any real active sport, running, yeah, you should reapply it.
Okay, so if I've got that on my skin, am I protected to be out in the sun for, a good 4 hours, 5, 6?
Well, the SPF is for about 90 to 120 minutes. So if you're going to be out for 4 hours, you should reapply it at least once.
Okay, all right. So I have to take it with me.
Or, they make small ones now. Put it in the pocket.
Okay, why is, other than making our skin look like leather, why is the sun so bad for our skin?
Well, it damages the individual cells.
Okay.
And causes them to mutate, and then once they do, they can become cancerous. Oftentimes they're precancerous first, but they may go straight into skin cancer. And your skin has memory. In other words, the sunburn you got when you're 6 years old, your skin remembers that when you're 40 or 50 years old. And everything just adds up, and when it hits a certain point, then you can go ahead and tip over into a skin cancer.
That's tough, because that means that if, when I was a college co-ed, laid out in the sun with the baby oil and the tanning things, all those burns that I accumulated during that time, it's already done the damage to my skin.
Well, that's right. You can't do anything about the past, but you can just do something about the present and the future, and that would be to wear the sun protective measures we talked about.
Okay. So damage that I incurred to my skin many, many, many years ago sometimes doesn't come up until later on in life, and then it rears its ugly head.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, and then we have to start. So even if I started using sunscreen now, I still could get a skin cancer.
It's possible.
Okay. So what are the warning signs for skin cancer? I mean, what does that look like?
Well, it would be any type of sore, an open sore that didn't heal, or a lump that came up, or any change in pigmentation, a new mole that you see or someone notices on your back. Any change like that would warrant an examination.
So if I have a little spot on the back of my hand and I'm bad to just scrape it off, I'll be studying and I'll just scrape it off and I'm done. And if it keeps coming back, probably should pay attention to it.
Right. See your family doctor or a dermatologist to have it checked.
Okay, all right. I know myself, my skin is a little bit darker, so that does give me a little bit of protection against developing skin cancer.
Yes, it does, but you're still of the Caucasian race, and so that's the main group that has the skin cancers. Extremely uncommon to find it in African Americans or Orientals or Latinos.
Okay, so, fake sun. I call fake sun tanning beds. What's your verdict on tanning?
Well, tanning beds are bad for your skin. They're good for my business, but they're bad for your skin for a number of reasons, but certainly that adds the accumulation of ultraviolet radiation. That's what they're creating in the tanning beds.
So I hear this also. Is it an urban legend? Oh, you're getting ready to go to the beach for spring break. You should go to the tanning bed to get a base before you go on spring break.
Yeah, that's fallacious. It's not true.
That's not true. Yeah, okay. Just good for your business.
It's good for our business, but it's not good for the general, the general health of the country.
Okay. If skin cancer is treatable for the most part.
In the overwhelming number of cases. Usually, certainly when someone sees it, they go in. There are a variety of ways it can be treated, but most commonly is surgically removed as an outpatient, local anesthesia. You walk in, you walk out. That day, there's no problem. Person can drive themselves to the office and home. Then there are some, like the melanomas, which we've seen a marked increase in numbers over the years. Whether that relates to people being out in the sun with more leisure time or the use of tanning beds, can't absolutely say, but there's strong evidence that that's the case. And so those sometimes take more extensive surgery.
Okay. Does it ever require chemotherapy?
Well, we really didn't have chemotherapy until the last very few years, but now both for basal and squamous cell and for melanoma, there is chemotherapy. We used to just be, if you got it early, great. If you did not get it early, then you had a problem. And that was true of melanomas particularly, but all stages of skin cancer now, there are adjunctive therapies that can be done.
Okay. So if we go back to getting exposed to the sun and the cumulative damage that the sun, and I love the sun, it feels so good when the sun comes out. It ages my skin. How do I turn back those hands of time?
Well, first of all, you want to prevent it, and the simple things we've talked about. There is a medication that can help with fine wrinkles and also pigmentation and such. It's been around for a long time, since 1974, and that's tretinoin, or Retin-A was the brand name. And with regular use, it can help with fine lines. It can be part of a three-pronged effort to get rid of pigmentation spots, and that oftentimes is one of the early things that particularly females will ask about, is what we call melasma or mask of pregnancy.
Is that what they call liver spots?
It can be liver spots too. Yeah.
All right.
I was just mentioning what they're called on the face, but on the hands and arms,
They call them
liver spots. Right.
Yeah, that's a sign of age. That's not good.
Well, and it's a sign of sun too, mainly sun. Because, I always like to use a person as their own, as their own check, and I just turn your arm over and see, you don't have liver spots here, you've got them over here, and that's where you got the sun.
Right, being out in the sun, this part is exposed. All right, so what else would you like to tell people about the sun?
Particularly, we've covered most everything that I think we did. I would like for people to stay out of tanning beds. Spray tans are fine, but they do not give you sun protection. So you need to use a sunscreen in addition to that. But if you feel like you have to have a tan color, then that would be fine. But otherwise, we just are big and emphasize sun protection. It gives you, it's beneficial now and beneficial in the long run.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much.
Thank you, Elise.
You're welcome. And so there you have it. Dr. Bushkeller's told us and taught us about the dangers of sun exposure and how to manage it and how to enjoy and have fun in the sun, but not expose yourself to the risk of looking too old or cancer or skin cancer. So if people want to get a hold of you, Dr. Bushkeller, have any more questions or need to see a dermatologist in your group, how would they go about doing that?
They can call our office at 690-9467, 865 area code, or they can just go on the web and go to knoxderm.com, KNOXDERM.com.
Pretty easy to remember. All right, well, there you heard it. And we hope you'll join us next time for Doc Talks, and that's a wrap.